whiskey review from your boys, the Buffalo Happy Hour. Today we got Russell's Reserve 6-year rye. Michael, you want to tell them where we got it from?
Yeah, so our friends over at Colonial, located at the famous Five Corners intersection in Orchard Park / West Seneca area, has this on their shelf, and we are very excited for it. Reasonably priced, might I add, but if you are within the grand state of New York, they can ship it right to your door if you buy it online. If you do, please use BHH at checkout to make sure that you can enjoy the applicable discounts. So, excited for this one, Derek. Mm-hmm. As you can see, Mike got a little thirsty, so there's that. But anyways, great option. We'll talk about it.
I think part of the... So this is another Kentucky option, obviously, if you guys haven't figured out. This is the 6-year rye out of Kentucky. It's 6 years old, obviously. That's why it's called the 6-year rye. Comes in at 90 proof, so 45%. And it's $47.99 at Colonial Wine and Spirits here in New York. Prices may vary. I think one of my things when it comes to Kentucky whiskey, or Kentucky bourbon specifically, is that all of them taste the same because once you start figuring it out, most of them come from the same distillery. And that's where I think, like, brand recognition is one thing. Like, you don't really see that much when you are in New York or Wyoming or Texas, where you have, like, Hartman's Distillery, but makes Buffalo Distilling Company, makes Black Button, makes, like, all these New York whiskey. Like, that doesn't happen. Every place is their own. Mm-hmm. And that's what bothers me, I guess, a lot with Kentucky whiskey, is because you have one distillery making a lot. And the reason that I bring that up is because Russell's Reserve is a Wild Turkey product. And the way that this all started was Jimmy Russell, who worked at the Wild Turkey Distillery for I think like 45 years or something. They wanted to commemorate his time working at the Wild Turkey Distillery by making a single barrel or a small batch product that was called Russell's Reserve. And that turned into Russell's Reserve now, but it's still made at the Wild Turkey Distillery. So when you're talking about like brand recognition, sure, it might be different tasting juice, but it all came from the same distillery. It's just almost, you can think of it as like Wild Turkey small batch rye for the most part.
Sure, makes complete sense.
So like that's where I think it gets a little challenging, because if you're in a liquor store or if you're at a bar and you're like, oh, do I want to try Wild Turkey or do I want to try Russell? They're around the same price. Little do you know that they're just kind of selling you the same product, just from the same distillery, just a different label on it. And that's where it rubs me the wrong way.
No, I understand. I totally get it. Which is why a lot of people are starting to venture and try.
Yeah.
However, from a label branding standpoint, I don't hate it.
No,
it is a real cork. It's a great standard, typical bottle shape.
Real word too.
Very easy to hold and pour out of. And the cork itself is fantastic to open. So
I like nice girth over here on the top, you know?
Sure. So as we found as complete amateurs 215 reviews ago, is that rye has generally always had a green label to it. Don't know why, but one of the things that we noticed with...
It's not even green.
With our little bit of tism early on, about 6 years ago. But any Hoosiers, the overall label, I don't hate. It does kind of pop on the shelf. I do like the contrast. Russell's is massive on the label, so it definitely stands out when, sitting on a shelf next to something else. But I don't mind this at all, and it's a real cork. I'm in an A check.
Yeah, I think A check is fair. I wouldn't even go... I would go even like a flat A or like an A minus or something too. Mm-hmm. The thing that I'm starting to notice too when we do these is, the label, obviously this one has been opened and enjoyed thoroughly, but was this heat wrapped, like heat shrink wrapped, or was it an actual label that you peeled off? Because I'm starting to notice that too on certain bottles. Like the last one we had a nice perforation that you can undo.
Yep.
It was stamped at the top. It was really nice. But some of these, especially Kentucky whiskey, has a lot of heat shrink.
Yeah, this was heat shrink.
Yeah, okay,
so
that's what I thought. Okay, yeah, I mean, I would go A minus. You're gonna go. What are you gonna go?
A check.
Okay, A check sounds good.
I agree. Nose on a rye out of Kentucky.
Also, too, should point out the mash bill for this is 52% rye, 36% corn, and 12% malted barley. If you were here during last week's episode when we reviewed the Bardstown Origin series, the rye differences in between both of them are very small. the rye in the Bardstown bourbon, so that's primarily corn, but the rye was 36%. It was a high rye corn, or it was a
Right.
high rye bourbon. Here,
Yes.
we're getting a very low rye whiskey because it's only 52%. It's just meeting that threshold.
Now,
But this one smells more dry erase marker than the other one did.
this smells like wet grass to me.
Really?
And I couldn't. So yes to the marker, and then yes to wet grass for me. And what's interesting is I'm the sole enjoyer of this bottle so far. I've had it for an extremely long time,
Yeah.
super long time. Probably my oldest bottle.
Yeah, probably didn't pick it up last week.
Yeah, definitely did not pick it up last week. But what I couldn't place is, just because I didn't look it up, I just started enjoying, is the mash bill, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get more pepper out of a Kentucky rye, because I was anticipating that. Now that I'm diving into it for a formal review, makes complete sense. I think the malted barley really offsets it, and that's also driving the nose.
Yeah.
I think that third component of the mash is really changing it. I'm not opposed to it. I love malted barley and barley in general, but it's also why I love Irish whiskey. I would place this as a B. Long way of saying that. I'd give it a B on the nose.
Yeah, I think I'd go even C plus on that.
That's fine with me. I agree.
C plus. Yeah, that wet grass is a good call because of that barley. I think right now we're getting more of that because the last one was so sweet. So I
Probably.
think typically if you open this just off the rip and you don't have anything before then,
Off the rip.
you're probably not getting as much wet grass.
Yeah.
But I'm getting a lot of dry erase marker right off the bat, and then a little bit of that rye spice, but not a terribly complex nose.
Mm-hmm. Initial taste. Just like I remember it. Haven't had it in a long time though, so.
Yeah, definitely not on the right over here. I'm getting like almost like a dry wood. A little spice, but not too much. This is very dry to me.
It's very dry.
Yeah.
It's very dry. This reminds me of like a red wine that's fantastic. You drink it, and that's it. Like you almost need water immediately because you're like, why is my mouth so dry? Like, what's happening? That type of experience is happening with this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is very complex either. I think for the most part, you're getting just that dry wood, a little spice. I'm not getting any caramel. I'm not getting any sweetness to this. This is just kind of like a sweetness is on the ending note. We'll get to that, but overall, yeah, I think this is just a pretty dry, typical rye whiskey. That it's primarily.
It's so flat on the initial taste,
Yeah.
and I can't figure out why.
It's because the flavor profile of the rye dominating it. Rye is the spice, and then you're getting the sweetness from the corn, kind of, but the corn is so low in this too.
Yeah,
Like there's just a weird.
It's a weird mash.
Yeah, it's a weird mix of those two grains. Like I feel like in a typical whiskey, what I like to see is a whiskey that is either very high rye or very high corn.
Yeah, I mean, we love
The
95
mix of these two are difficult for me.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Because I feel like it's just like one of those, you're the jack of all trades but the master of none, right? Like this is just okay.
It's a fantastic Manhattan option.
100%. I can see that.
So
Because I mean it is spice. I mean it's a 90 proof, so you're not watering, like it's not an 80 proof, so it still holds up in a cocktail.
yeah, it holds up.
Yeah. Is that what you primarily use it for?
I mean, you
Other
know,
than the drive over? So I mean, initial taste, I'd go maybe like C check again.
yeah, I agree.
Is there a reason
agree, I
why
agree.
you picked this up?
Never had it.
Okay.
Price point,
Yeah.
and wanted to expand my horizons, as they say, as I navigated Colonial Wine and Spirits, who's got a fantastic inventory. So, ending notes, I'm literally just getting wood sugar. It is front heavy, but it's so dry that you're searching for an ending note, and the only thing that I can come up with is wood sugar.
Yeah, I
It's-
can maybe pick up a little bit of like, not a grassy note, but like a hay almost, where it's just like this lingering, unfinished barley type thing on the back end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's nothing that like the sweetness is coming through and you're like, oh, I need another sip. It's
Right.
more of just like I taste it, but let's just pour it in a Manhattan.
Yeah. I'm at a C for the ending note.
I agree.
I agree. So, final rating. Derek, give me that countdown.
3, 2, 1. 74.
Yeah, 73.
That took you way too long.
So, as we continue,
Oh, God.
would you have this in your collection? I'll go first. Yes. Why? Manhattans. I think this is a superb option for cocktails, and you can do a lot with it. I think it is versatile. It's not overpowering in a cocktail. Neat. If you're into it, sure. We always recommend trying things neat. The distillers put a lot of time and effort into it. We're not knocking them with our rating of 73. 73 out of 100 is not bad. I mean, that's how I graduated. So we got to where I am today.
We turned out fine.
And we turned out fine, you know, so it all works out in the end. But what I will say is this is slowly taking over my go-to rye option for a
Really?
Manhattan. Yeah, it's so good in a Manhattan. So good.
Interesting. I personally think that there's other options out there for rye whiskey that I would have because I like the versatility of a 95.5. I like that being the primary flavor in Manhattan. I also like sipping it neat. So for me, the versatility of a high rye whiskey tickles my fancy, if you will.
Ooh,
but I
tickles
can
it.
definitely see. I mean, it's not a bad whiskey at all.
No.
But I think there's a lot of other options out there.
Oh, God, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah!
Well, everybody, this was Wednesday Whiskey Review number 215 from us, your boys, Mike and Derek, at the Buffalo Happy Hour. Derek, take us out.
If you did drink anything with us today while we walked through this review of Russell's Reserve 6-year rye, we would appreciate you sticking around with us. And then also, please we always recommend to drink responsibly. Different and Michael.
Do not litter.
We're out.